Look at New York City today, and you see the world's most dense cluster of global finance. It is a sprawling metropolis of 32,000 streets, packed with over 8 million people. But rewind 400 years, and you find a quiet, dense river forest originally inhabited by the Lenape people. Most early American colonies were built by settlers seeking religious utopias or expanding a monarch's empire. This region's origins are different. The settlement began with the Dutch East India Company, a profit-seeking corporation. They were looking for a return on investment by finding a shortcut to the Pacific Ocean, known as the Northwest Passage. In 1609, they hired an English contractor named Henry Hudson to find that route. Hudson failed, but his geographic accident landed his ship right inside a massive deep-water harbor. He didn't find a path to Asia, but he did find an environment teeming with wildlife, specifically beaver and other pelts, which were lucrative commodities in European markets. This initial discovery operated as a successful corporate scouting mission. The company identified a valuable, extractable resource, laying down a commerce-driven foundation for the island that never faded. By 1624, a newly formed entity, the Dutch West India Company, decided to formalize this trading operation. They sent over ships packed with civilian colonists to harvest the local fur supply. The following year, these settlers laid the foundations for Fort Amsterdam on the very southern tip of Manhattan. The structure served as protective infrastructure, built explicitly to guard the mouth of the Hudson River and secure the company's valuable cargo. To secure the site, Director General Peter Minuit negotiated a transaction with the local Lenape in 1626, exchanging traded goods worth 60 guilders. Today, that translates to roughly $1,000. The company executed this trade to legitimize their territorial claim against rival European powers. It functioned as a strategic corporate real estate acquisition. From the moment the first permanent structure was erected, Manhattan operated as a fortified corporate asset designed to maximize trade volume. Over the next few decades, the settlement, now called New Amsterdam, grew to around 1,500 people. Recruited for labor rather than ideology, the workforce was a diverse mix of immigrants focused on trade, lacking any unified national loyalty. This pragmatist mindset clashed with the company's new executive, Director General Peter Stuyvesant. He attempted to strictly control religious worship and block Quakers, Jews, and Lutherans from establishing churches, which angered the profit-focused workforce. While internal frictions flared, an external threat loomed. The Netherlands and England were locked in a series of naval conflicts, and New Amsterdam's leaders feared an English infantry attack coming by land from the north. To protect operations, inhabitants pooled resources in 1653, erecting a defensive wooden barricade entirely across the settlement's northern boundary. The timber wall eventually fell, but laid the path for the geographic anchor of the modern financial world, Wall Street. The most famous financial thoroughfare on the planet exists because a 17th century corporation needed a physical barrier to protect its inventory from a business rival. In 1664, a large English naval fleet sailed into the harbor, their guns pointed at the colony. Stuyvesant tried to rally a defense, but the citizens refused. They viewed his regulations as a burden and knew that fighting a war would stop the flow of trade. They surrendered the city without a fight. The English took control of the fort and rebranded the entire colony as New York. The new management maintained the lucrative Dutch economic institutions, which included the shipment of enslaved people. By the 1740s, slaves made up 20% of the city's population. The transition functioned as a hostile corporate takeover. The English replaced the executive board, but kept the company's established, profit-generating operations intact. The Dutch only held the colony for 40 years before handing it over to the English. Yet those 4 decades set the permanent trajectory for the city's development. They left behind a diverse workforce, the physical outlines of the grid, and a culture centered on commerce. New York's growth into a global financial center aligns with these origins. Unlike American settlements founded for agriculture or religious community, Manhattan was specifically engineered to function as a corporate trading floor.